Hi guys, what's going on? Today's game, grand strategy game. Yep, it's Hearts of Iron 4. I kind of knew what to expect having played Hearts of Iron 3. At first look, it can appear impossibly complicated. At first, I found myself losing interest due to the complexity of playing God over a large and detailed nation, such as Germany. However, I found a gentle way into the game by playing a smaller nation and having a much smaller army. This I recommend as a good way to get used to all the different switches and dials that you will need when playing. So there are 8 main tenets to this game, and that is the menu that is usually in the top left hand corner. Here we will find national focus, research, diplomacy, trade, construction of buildings, construction of tanks and supplies, templates, and logistics. Within these main menus, you will use these to control your nation's destiny. Usually you want a good amount of civilian and military factories, especially if you start before the war. You get a bit of extra time to build up a big force to be reckoned with. So the game is not actually turn-based such as the Civilization series. This one is real-time. However, you can pause the time whenever you want, and of course when you're actually fighting battles, I tend to pause a lot. So yeah, you don't get any spectacular visuals during battles. Battles are entirely handled on the world map. One of the most fun aspects is that you can answer any kind of what ifs in history during the period of World War II. So any small, funny, quirky ideas you have, if you have a good grasp of history, it'll be all the more fun putting that to the test. Yeah, for the most part the game is historically accurate. There's lots of real-life events that flash up on the screen. This just adds a bit of depth, you know, such as the Anschluss of Austria and Germany taking back their various territories after the sort of draconian Treaty of Versailles. I think World War II is really a perfect age for military strategy games, because it's not too modern, whilst at the same time it's not so long ago that you're just using bows and arrows. So this one is probably the most accessible Hearts of Iron yet. A lot of the little menus that you have to use have become very intuitive. It's now, I would say, it's easier than ever. A little downer is on this version there are not as many portraits of the various world leaders, politicians and military personnel. I found that a lot of the smaller nations just had a standard generic portrait. Paradox really specialise in these games. This is more or less a modern Europa Universalis. If you are interested in these grand strategy games but don't need such spectacular sequences as you might see in a Company of Heroes or a Dawn of War, if just the pure sort of strategic elements are enough to satisfy, I really recommend this. There's absolutely nothing too wrong with this game. Perhaps a lot of people who have been giving it bad reviews are saying the DLC is overpriced. I don't think that's really enough of a factor to just slate the whole game. Got to find better flaws than that to give it a bad rating. I personally think that often DLC is a bit overpriced and it is greedy, but these games companies are working very hard to produce good games for us, and I don't really begrudge them trying to earn as much money as they can, because a game like this will not have as big an audience as, say, a Call of Duty. So any little bit of extra cash they can get, as long as it keeps the publisher or the developer running, then that's all good. Yes, so this game is pretty much the best Hearts of Iron yet. Visually, it's quite improved, even though visuals are not particularly important here. Yeah, I mean, I really can't find fault with it. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Possibly a 10, except I do personally like a bit of spectacular animation in my games, as paradoxical as that will sound. Otherwise, it's a really good World War II simulator where you can play God over whatever nation you want. You can pick any nation. So yeah, I'm about to grab a cold one, and I'll see you later.